Hey everyone, Hugo here. I hope you're all doing very well. Today I'm going to be showing you how to manage your add-ons for Prepared. Sadly, I won't be showing you how to set up the exact way I currently organize my add-ons, but not to worry. The video I am about to present to you and the way I'm going to show you how to manage and organize your add-ons for Prepared, I'm actually going to start doing it that way from the current way I'm doing, which is a bit slow and annoying. This way I'm about to show you, very simple and easy. And to show you this easy way, I'm going to start from square one. So for example, I am today going to be using Latin VFR and Roatan for my example, which is an airport scenery from Latin VFR, of course, of Roatan Island Airport. But before we install the scenery, we need to make an add-ons folder. I know there's one already in the documents and user documents. I've replace my user documents somewhere else, but ignore that. But yeah, documents and Prepared v5 add-ons or v4 add-ons, whatever Prepared you're doing. And there was already one there, but because I want to install my add-ons in a separate drive, then that's what we're going to be doing. So what you want to go and do is make an add-ons folder wherever you want. Obviously, I'm doing it in my F drive as an example today. I'm just going to name it add-ons. You can name it whatever you want. I've got a shortcut for my current Prepared add-ons, but like I said, I'm not going to be showing you that today because it's a complete mess. And we're just going to be starting from square one. So just go into the add-ons folder. You can either make category folders or not. I will be making category folders. So we're doing Roatan Airport today. So our category folder will be airports. You can make another folder called aircraft or AI or normal scenery, like scenery that cover like a general area, like England, for example. But like I said, we're just going to be doing airports for today. Well, one airport, just to show you how I'm going to do this. As I'm installing Latin VFR Roatan, you want to make a folder called something that will tell you that it's Roatan. And I'm not going to name it Latin VFR, I'm going to name it the iCal, so MHRO, and then the airport name afterwards. So then I got like two ways of saying what airport is it, iCal or airport name. I'm not going to say if it's Latin VFR or not, because I mean you can if you want, but I just don't do it that way. And so yeah, that's the folder we will be installing the scenery into. But just before we go and do that, some installers either install all of their scenery package into the selected folder, which is going to be this for today. Sometimes you can't select the folder, so you've got to do other things like I'll show you later. And sometimes it'll split it up in two, so you've got the scenery and texture folders in this folder, and your effects somewhere else in the Prepared v5 or v4 main root folder. So that's annoying for me. But if that's okay for you, in terms of like having the effects installed somewhere else and your scenery and texture in the main scenery files in your add-on location, if that's okay for you, then that's okay. But for me, I want to make sure I get every single file installed into one area. And to do that, I know Latin VFR has some add-on effects, which we'll install into this folder here. To make sure you don't want to get it mixed up, you just take this folder out, put it on your desktop or something, so cut and paste so it moves and not copy and paste, so cut and paste. And therefore when the scenery installs, it will make an effects folder and only install the effects for that scenery. I've just started up the installer, gone past the part where it asks for like the serial codes and whatnot, and here we are at this point where it asks me where do you want to install it into. So obviously we want to install it into our new folder like so. So we'll just go and click this bar here, so it does this, and then you can copy the whole path and then paste it into here, and then you click next and next and it'll install your scenery as such. Like I said earlier, this scenery will only install the scenery and texture files, and it will install the effects files or folders into here. And there you go. You can see it's made the effects folder, and it's only got a few effects in here. It's got a couple textures and well, a few textures and a few effects. Simply just do the same as last time how you got on this in the desktop. So you cut and paste, but you paste it into the same folder as your scenery. As you can see, we have now got a scenery, a texture, and effects folder, like so. And we've installed a docs, or it's installed a docs folder, which who cares about that? Now that you've installed the scenery, you can simply go and put back the old effects folder into here, because obviously you want that to be loaded again into the sim. Otherwise, if it's not, you're going to get some issues. So obviously for Roatan, it's allowed me to set my destination to install all my files. But if not, they typically get installed into folders like sim, market, or Aerosoft in here. If that's the case, then yeah, just go into those folders, copy and paste the scenery and texture folders or anything else in there, and paste it into your folder you made for your add-ons. So for us, obviously, Roatan, Latin VFR, luckily makes it so that we can install it into our own preset location. Now that we have the main scenery installed, we've got the effects linked up with the scenery and texture folders, we need to make the addon.xml so that the simulator can read it and run the scenery in the sim, obviously. Latin VFR installs one by default. As you can see, it's made one here. It's rubbish, and it's in this folder, which I hate, so it can go and delete, like so. And we'll just go back to this folder. If other scenery do it by default as well, make sure you delete it, because we want to do it our own way, in our own folder for this add-on airport. Luckily for you lot, you don't have to make an addon.xml file from scratch, and I will upload a template in the description and link it for you guys to download. This template is going to be placed into the same folder as your add-on, so this one here, and there you go. I just cut and paste it from my other screen. Wow, movie magic, lovely. Make sure that this addon.xml is in one directory from your category. If you don't know what that means, so this is our category airports, and then the addon.xml needs to be in the next folder in. So the next folder for MHRO Roatan is that folder, and here is the addon.xml. It won't load if this addon.xml is in two folders from the airports category, or if you're not having a category, then your add-ons folder. So it needs to be so that it is one folder from your category, or if you, like I said, not having category, then add-ons. But as you can see, we've got a category, so it's one folder back that the addon.xml is in. Now that you have done everything, made sure it's in the right place, you can open it up. I use Visual Studio Code for this, but you can use the default Notepad app if you don't have Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is free, by the way, so if you want to have a fancy code editor, then Visual Studio Code you can go and get. But yeah, like I said, the default Notepad app works fine. As you can see in my template, there are many different things you can load into the sim, like an application, or like a ground layered scenery, which is like an altitude scenery file typically. But we are only going to be using these top two here, which is the scenery, like a normal scenery, and effects. We don't have any separate texture folders, we don't have any separate scenery folders, we don't have any applications to run. Yeah, actually, talking about applications, just going off course a bit, this is really cool, because you can load up, let's say if you want to load up Project Fly when you start your sim, or Volanta, or Sim Toolkit Pro, whatever logbook you use, you can set the path for that application, and when you start P3D, Project Fly or Volanta or Sim Toolkit Pro will load up with P3D. It's really cool. I use it for like VPilot, Volanta, PFPX, add to Sky. Yeah, it's just amazing. But we're not going to be using that for this airport. Neither are we going to be using this, as I said, or this. So those can all delete. So the first thing we're going to do is actually set the name for this add-on. As you can see, addon.name is where you set the add-on name. We're going to say Latin, how does they spell that? I think that's how it's spelled. Latin VFR Roatan, like so. That's how I'm going to name it. You can name it whatever you want, but you need to make sure that no other add-on.xml is named the same. If this section is named the same as another add-on.xml, then your sim will get confused. So make sure it is named differently. If you want to name something the same, you can't. Sorry. Now we need to go and set the path and name and the path for effects and scenery, which is really simple. So for the scenery path, which is Roatan, is the path which has the scenery and the texture folder in. So that is this path we're sat in right now. So we're looking at scenery and texture right now. And so that means you want to copy this. So we're going to copy that and put it in the path, like so. For the name as well, you can set the same as your add-on name. You can set it to whatever you want. Like I sort of said, I'm going to set it as the same as Latin VFR Roatan. Effects wise, it is not the same as this. You have to set it in the effects folder, like so. So I'm going to copy that and set the path like that. So it's basically the same path as your scenery and texture one, your category scenery, but it's just got the effects on the end. As this is an airport scenery, I like to make sure that it gets to the top of the scenery library. And the way to do that is really simple. Just what you need to do is make a new line within the add-on component, like so. So make a new line and just put one under name, and basically type this out, layer, and then we're going to set 999 because that is just cool, and that will make sure it's at the top, and like so. That's what you want to name it to, layer, with these weird arrows. I don't know what they're called, and then the same afterwards. Not quite the same. There's a little slash there for the other half of this tag. In fact, if I go back a lot, you can see I've got the same thing there. You can copy and paste that, and then like rename it to 999 and make sure to put it into this into here. Don't worry about these green text. They might not be green on if you're using the same default notepad thing from Windows, but they're green in Visual Studio Code. Don't worry about them, they'll be ignored. You can delete them if you want to get rid of all the ugly stuff that I made for you, like so. So that's done, the XML's done, so you're going to close that now. And next to the XML we just made, just make a new folder and call it disabled or off or anything that would indicate that your scenery or add-on even is disabled. So I've just made in all capitals off. And the reason why I say that, make a new folder, is you might want to disable an add-on so that your sim can load faster, or you just want to disable it just because you don't want to run it. Like I do, I only activate add-ons that I'm going to be like flying to and from. Like let's say I'm flying from London to Corfu. I'm not going to have Denver International Airport activated because why? That'll just slow down sim startup. And to disable the add-on, just like cut and paste the XML into there. And like I said earlier, the P3D will not look for any add-on XMLs, like 2 folders in from whatever the category or the add-ons, whatever you set up. It won't look in 2 folders in. It will only look for XMLs within every folder within your category, or if you're just not using categories, just add-ons. But for this test, or this test example, I am going to be putting it here so that I can prove to you that this all works, obviously. But now, obviously the sim doesn't know we just made these random folders. So we need to tell the sim, hey, look for any XMLs within this category, or like I said earlier, If you're not using categories, then whatever. But yeah, I'm going to say look for XMLs in this category. And to do so, go to your C drive. You've got these random folders here like core said DRAM, but ignore that. And go to view and then tick hidden items. That will show you program data. And then you want to go to Lockheed Martin and Prepar3D, and there'll be an addons.xml folder. I made a backup of the one I've already got because I don't want that to be messed up when I do my tutorial. So I've made a brand new one and it's all empty. As you can see when I open it, it's all empty as I just said. And because you're not wanting to, for your scenery, we don't need to be in this folder anymore. Because on your scenery, you can set a line in here for every single add-on.xml, but that will just get continuously annoying. You've got to go back in here, add it when you make a new XML. But there's a really simple way, like I just said earlier, for it to search for XMLs within this folder, just like the way it works in Prepar3D add-ons. And the way to do that is you need to make a new line. Well, this already starts off with one line, called with square brackets discovery, if I can spell it correctly, not dot, path, one word, like so, and then .0. If you've already got one, let's say you've got some that say .1 and like the next one says like .2, actually no, it'll start off with 0, then 1, then 2, whatever. Your next one that you make will have to be one above from the biggest one that's there. So let's say it's 2 for this example, but there isn't. So we're going to set 0. Then you need to make some 4 lines. This one, the first one, path. The next one, title. Make sure you put in equals at the end of each of these. And then the next one, active. And we're going to say true. It wants it to be active, this discovery path. And the next one is required. This is turning into like I feel like I'm turning into a coding tutorial, but it's not, trust me. Oh, let's put that into lowercase and all the others are uppercase, that's annoying. Required equals, and you want to put it to false. It sounds weird, but it's fine on false. And you know what, let's make everything capitals there. So for the path, like I said, you want to set the path for where you go into the folder of your add-on that the XML's in. So that's back one, and your path needs to be this one. I know it sounds it sounds confusing initially, but basically the path you put in there is the path so that if you click into one of your add-on folders, your XML is there. And then the title can be whatever you want. Because I made a category, I'm going to say add-on airports, like so. And that's done. Click save, and there you go. Your discovery path has been made. If I go and minimize that and minimize this, if I run P3D, it's on the other screen at the moment, which is kind of annoying. Click run as admin, as I always like to do. Boom, there you are. It's recognized the XML here, and it's asked to enable it. Yes, we will enable it. So there you are. That is that done. You can go and do this with lots of different scenery. You can make another one. You can name it. You can do Heathrow, like so. And for lots of different airports, or make another general scenery folder that is named for general scenery, obviously. And or you don't have to make a category, but I like to make categories because it's easier to go through and search for different things. So yeah, as you saw at the beginning, it started that XML, and if we go here, as you can see, Latin VFR Roatan, and I set the layer to 999, and therefore you can see it's right at the top. Got a little bit of a Bravo airspace. Just poking in there, we'll delete that because I add-on.xml'd it, and in this sort of way, but the developer wants you to do it like a weird way, so that's why that was there. But there you go. Now the VFR Roatan is up there. If I click OK, it's actually going to do some annoying things, and we'll click close. And if I go and do this and then put this into the off, So now the sim's restarted with the XML in the off folder. You go to add-ons, it's not there. Scenery library, it ain't there either. It's not at the bottom, it's not hiding anywhere. It's all fixed, not fixed, all turned off, sorry, I don't know why I said fixed. So that's how you would disable an add-on if you want. And the good thing is, if I go back to the program data Lockheed Martin and open up this again, it saves that there was an XML in here. So when you go and re-enable your add-on, which is here, XML, when you go to re-enable it, if I shut down the sim, so by pushing the XML back into this location, when you restart the sim will not ask you to yes or no to activate the add-on. If I go and reload it now the sim's properly closed, it will just rebuild scenery files and it will just work like that. So the first time you add an XML for a scenery, it will ask you to say yes or no, but then afterwards it will never ask you to say yes or no for that add-on XML, which is pretty cool, because when you go and re-enable and disable add-ons, you don't have to go through all the hassle of saying yes or no every time. So that's how you manage add-on XMLs for P3D. I hope this tutorial hasn't been too hard to follow, like I always do in all of my tutorials. I've tried to make it as simple as possible. I tried to follow a script I've been created, but I didn't quite do that. So yeah, I hope that has made some sense on how to manage your add-ons. If you need any questions on something I haven't explained, please comment down below and I'll see if I can answer it in just a comment. If not, then there's nothing I can do. I'm gonna disable hidden items because I don't like seeing those weird items shown. So yeah, that's me done for today. I hope that's been helpful and maybe something that you can clean up your add-on folders, and have a nice week. Bye bye.